All right, welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us right now is the defensive coordinator of the Dark Cloud defense. He is SWAC. That's right. It's Coach Milton Patterson. Coach Patterson, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to be on the show. I've been watching you guys for a while, man, and I just want to tell you guys do an amazing job, not just on advocating for football, but all the FAMU athletics on and off the field. So I'm extremely excited to be here today and looking forward to talk to you all.
Thank you, sir. We
Coach.
We appreciate you coming on. Well, I mean, look, Coach, you have in your short time here at FAMU, you've gone from coaching, I believe just the linebackers, if I'm not mistaken, correct, or was it D-line?
It was D-line.
D-line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been a part of coaching All-Americans. You've been a part of coaching one of the top defenses in FCS. The standard is the standard.
Absolutely.
Where do we go with this season? I mean, how excited are you to push to another level with this defensive squad this year?
Extremely excited. I mean, of course, I feel like getting promoted and getting the opportunity to lead this defense it's all came with a preparatory stage. I was a good steward of the defensive line, and I was the head coach of that room. And I didn't take it for granted. I worked every single day for it. And I had some phenomenal coaches and men around me that I was able to learn from. And Coach Simmons took a leap of faith on me. He didn't know me from Adam. And I feel like the best way to pay him back, or my best gratitude to him, was to do a good job. And so I got to learn from Coach Simmons, who's innovative, and he can be unconventional, but is very been a strong leader. I got to learn from Coach Smith and his passion and commitment to the game. So all these guys poured into me, and the best thing I could do was be a student, so I can be able to learn it and absorb it, and then pour it back into the guys.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
So I was looking at last year's stats, Coach, and in the SWAC, we was pretty much number one in every statistical category.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to follow. And then you add to that that, you lose some guys in the portal, particularly up front, and then you had some great guys like Isaiah Major who graduated. You still have a lot, some good core pieces, right? Mm-hmm. And I see that you all recruited well, but just understanding the standard is the standard. Talk about the challenge of repeating that kind of success, and where do you start from?
You start day by day. I mean, when you talk about repeating that success, I think it has to start with a small focus, seeing the days in front of you. You can't look ahead. We don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily see it as a challenge. I see it as an opportunity to do better, right? And I could kind of fall into the whole reload and repeat. And I told the guys this morning that the only thing that we want to repeat is the processes every single day that got us to be champions. So if we can work on those small details every single day, if we can be committed with the right attitude. And then one of the largest, when you recruit so many people from different places, is unity, getting everybody on the same page and understanding that there is a way that FAMU operates. There's a way that we brand the ball that we want to put out on the field. And we won't diminish that for anyone or for talent, So you have to be committed to the cause, committed to Florida A&M, committed to this brand of this defense and this program. And understand that it's bigger than you. It will always be bigger than you. It's bigger than me. But given that you have the opportunity, don't take it for granted. Put every single day, invest in yourself, fill up the tank, all the cliches that you can spit out there. But focus on the day. Be great in this moment, and those days add up. And that's what we want to repeat. And we'll reload the opportunities where we weren't the best version of ourselves. And one thing I know about Rattler Nation is they want results. So I'm very conscious of that, and I'm aware of that, and it's a driving force more than it is a speed bump. So I look at it as a way that's a goal. We said it. We went from hunting to being hunted, and we have to understand that, and that's going to be the mindset that and the attitude that we display. That we can't get complacent, and we're going to work every single day to be the best.
Awesome. All right, go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I'm going to have to come up with something new because Kelvin took the question I was going to ask. Because I mean, there's a big challenge coming up, especially with all the accolades and the amazing statistical numbers put up last year by the defense. Mm-hmm. And with so many different players coming in, and you're basically looking at 60 days until our first game, what is the most significant challenge you think you have to overcome in order to get us ready for the MEAC SWAC challenge?
Communication, and we have to be one. And our slogan, we're dark cloud defense, but we're the 212 defense, right? And it's the one extra degree of difference. And if we can all speak one language, we can accomplish all the same goals. And that's going to be the learning curve. That's going to be the challenge I foresee, is making sure that what has been the standard remains the standard. What we call one thing, what you may have called it at another place, is no longer that. So having the ability to get everybody on the same page will always be a challenge. But again, it's more of an opportunity. How can I find ways to tap into this young man? What do I need to stoop down to or meet him on his level in order to get him up to where we consistently operated at? And then it helps to have guys like James Ash. It helps to have guys even from the locker room, as well as Coach Cozy and Coach Wyndham, guys who have been here and they can see it modeled every single day, because we're the greatest representation of where we most recently were. So getting everybody on the same page is going to be the task, but it's one that has been good in these last 6 OTAs that we've had, and then skill development. So what I say, the D-line coach says. What the D-line coach says, I say it back. So we don't even break that trend. We want it to be what it is. We all speak one language, and we all committed to the same goal. So that will be the opportunity that we face.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
So, Coach, I believe if I heard Coach Cozy say it, I want to make sure I get my numbers right here. The 4.25 is returning. But for you, I want you to talk a little bit about kind of how, obviously, when you are in charge of 1/3 of the defense, obviously the D line, but we've also got linebackers and secondary. So when you go from being in charge of 1/3 to now overseeing 3 parts of the defense, how does that? What type of things go into that process for you? What kind of things do you have to? You talked about the communication aspect, but what other things go into that change for you, and maybe what kind of philosophical changes might you make where this defense kind of looks a little bit, or maybe is more towards your personality and style?
That's a great question. I did play linebacker a few pounds ago, so I was able to understand what I wanted the people in front of me to do, which I believe helped me when I was coaching the defensive line, and now at the linebacker position. I just want to be play complementary football and on all levels of it. What the front end does, the defensive line does, we need to be supportive of that at the linebacker core, and as well as in the back end. So making sure that everybody understands that trust is of extreme importance, right? No one man can make the play. If the defensive line is doing his job, then the linebackers are doing their job. The back end is going to be doing their job, and then knowing who you're working with. So when seeing the whole big picture, is making sure that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing at all times. And if there are any problems, it usually starts with communication. And that's just our big word, communication, and then the development part as well. And I would say the thing that'll be different, again, it's hard to say because we've done so well in the past. But again, just to continue to feature the athletes that we have big, strong players that we identified and recruited, and now have the opportunity to develop. So we just want to put them in position to make plays, to utilize their skill sets, and not be slowed down by having to think. So if we get the opportunity to send a little bit more pressure than we normally have in the past, I believe that will be seen on the field. And it's really just going to be the attitude. I'm typically fired up at practice. I only speak when it's needed, but when I do, it's with impact. So the attitude and the toughness that'll be displayed out on the field, as well as team ball. If we can't do anything if we're not team swarming out there on that field. So one ball, 11 hats need to be at it.
Nice. Kelvin, Marcus, if you would allow me, because it kind of, what Coach was just saying, it kind of transitioned to one of the questions I want to go and ask you from out of the chat room. JT asked the question, Coach, maybe, and you kind of maybe started talking about guys. Who are some of the guys and maybe some of the names that may not have been called often last season, but you think we're going to become household names, or that we're going to be cheering for? Maybe talk a little bit about some of those guys, if you can or would like to.
I'll start at the front. I mean, I think James Ash didn't get a lot of the recognition that he deserved, but I really believe he'll have a strong breakout year. I think he is a big, strong, dominant force. I think he'll be great. Andre Powell is having a great OTA at the rover position. He's going to do a great job. He's a great communicator, flies around, he's physical. Jamil Sanders, who we just picked up from USF, is shown to have a great OTA this past training camp. I keep calling it training camp, but OTAs. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do. He can fly around. We moved him around in some different spots, and his attitude and his toughness that he brings to the second level is going to be special. And we got some backers. Eric Horn is really producing to be a dynamic player for us in the linebacker room, and he's been exciting and consistently learning every single day how he can get better. And I love the way that he's approaching practice. I love the way that he's approaching the meeting room. So the list goes on because we have so many new faces. I'm hoping that you get to hear 11 of them. So that'll be really exciting if we can get everybody's name called out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, you moved to linebackers and you brought in a D-line coach. Can I just talk about your staff a little bit?
Okay. We brought in Coach Walker. Coach Walker played at the NFL level and he played at the highest level in college, and then played at the highest level in football. I think it was important when leaving that room. It was hard to do, but it was important to get somebody with a background and a knowledge base that can provide to these student athletes what it's like at the next level, right? How to communicate to them, and just bring a level of expertise that I personally had not been to myself. And I'm learning from him. We go back and forth on philosophies and thinking, but one thing about it, we're all on the same page about how we want to play in the backfield. Coach Pope, coming over from Alabama State, and I've met him previously, and just a genuinely good guy. He brings a level of calm to the room that he can control and get those guys on the same page. But he brings a wealth of knowledge and coaching at all levels, from the NAIA level, Division II level, as well as the FCS level. He just brings a wealth of knowledge that's going to expand us in the coverage world as well. And make us better. We also have Coach Cozy still going to be coaching the corners. So he wasn't going to give that up, right? He wasn't going to give that up at all. So our relationship continues to grow stronger, and we're on the same page. And, we go back and forth, what works, what doesn't work, but it's all in good spirit, and it's all for the betterment of the guys. So it's exciting to work with these men every single day. And that's what they do on the football field. A large part of the reason that Coach Cozy and myself picked these guys was that they're great family men as well. And I thought that was of extreme importance. You got to see Coach Simmons' children running around the building. You got to see Coach Smith's children running around the building. It just says something when the man coaching your child has to go home and be a father at the end of the day as well. So you is a little more compassion, a little more understanding, a little more patience, but still the same outcome of dominating and getting them in the right position. So these guys are exciting to work with every single day, and the beautiful part of OTAs and skill development is that we get to merge and get on the same page in June. So August, we'll be hitting on all cylinders.
All right. Well said. Go
Hey,
ahead.
let me
go
me
ahead.
get one follow up.
Yeah,
Coach,
yeah.
how are you on game day, and what do you think you're gonna be like that first game as the
That,
DC?
I'm pretty Sunday through Friday, I'm a hell raiser. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get after it. My guys know I'm gonna be intent, but on game day, I feel like we quizzed and test all through the week. It's your time to display what you've learned, and I want to make sure that the right 11 are out there. So guys who can communicate, guys who are quick thinkers who can adjust. So I think I'll be the same guy. Uh, you'll only see me get charged up when we're not operating efficiently or we're not playing our level of ball or our brand of ball. But outside of that, you got to be calm to be able to communicate and get the right message across. So I'll be calm and collected. We better make those tackles, though.
What do you got, Marcus?
Coach, a couple weeks ago on show, actually, I came in late, and Coach Colsey was on. He mentioned that there's still maybe a couple things out there they're looking for. I think he said he needed one more offensive lineman, one more defensive lineman, and I believe a wide receiver. And Kelvin and Bryan, correct me if I'm wrong. Watching the show replay. Now, since then, we did get a transfer offensive lineman. I don't know if we've gotten a wide receiver. Are we still on the hunt for a defensive lineman, or have we got everything we need there?
I believe we have everything we need, but I'm also a hoarder of talent. So let's why not? If we can find one more, we won't turn that down. So the room is great. These guys have been working together, so I like what I'm seeing out on the field. I like how they're communicating and gelling together now. And I think I know Coach Cozy and Coach Wyndham laid the blueprint of the characteristics of guys that we want to bring into the program. So even if we do go get one more, it has to be the right guy, and he has to understand that he may not start on the first snap of the game. He may be a starter on 3rd and 1. And again, I can't stress the importance of being a great teammate. Right, you can't bring the wrong person or the wrong people into this program, because no matter how talented you are, it'll end up sinking the ship. So if the right guys out there are still available, we'll get them.
I would say that's one thing which I marvel at. We have done a great job of bringing the right young men, even from a coaching perspective. It's a testament to you, your other coaches, and the leadership at the top that the emphasis on the type of people that we bring into the program is what yields the success that we're seeing on the field. And that should not be taken lightly at all, because there's a lot of talented players, a lot of talented coaches, but like you just said, you got to have the right people. It's like having the right ingredients to really make that dish hit. I got to ask you, Coach. You're a 4-year letterman from Jackson State. That October 19th game be the first time I think that FAMU has traveled back to Jackson since, Kelvin, correct me here, I'm going to say 2012. It's at least a decade.
It was that Hail Mary game.
Yes, yeah. It's been a long time since we traveled to Jackson. What is that game going? What do you think that game will be like for you? It'll be a big time rivalry. A lot will be on the line. What are your thoughts? I know you don't look ahead, so I'm just going to speak in general terms. What do you think it'll be like going back to Jackson State, leading this FAMU defense?
It definitely be a lot of emotions. Going back into the vet and knowing that what it's going to be. It's going to be 60,000 people in there. It's going to be jam packed. It's going to be rocking. I want to believe that I'll be able to contain it and have the composure to make sure that we come out with the victory, that we come out successful. But I believe once that foot hits that football, I'll snap out all the nostalgic moments, and I'm ready to handle business. I had the opportunity when I was at Mississippi Valley to play Jackson State, and one of the few times that we did beat them when I was at Mississippi Valley, it was great. It was great. So Jackson made, FAMU paid. So we got to get it done.
Hey, I feel a shirt. I feel a shirt coming on right there. I love that. Hey, does being having that familiarity with the SWAC and the locations and the travel. Obviously, when you came on staff was right about the time when we transitioned into the SWAC. Did that help you? And obviously, Coach Simmons, he had familiarity with the SWAC as well. I think even Coach Henry. So, I mean, for you, did that help you in terms of getting guys prepared and ready for some of those locations that we traveled to over the last couple of years?
Absolutely. And you kind of just put it on their mind in the film room all week, so it's not a culture shock. I mean, you take that drive down 82 to Itabena, you got to let them know about the cotton fields. You got to let them know about the water. You got to let them know, and I think that prepares guys' minds that every place, even though we tell guys everywhere we go is Brad, it's not going to always be the same atmosphere. So being able to prep the guys, hey, this locker room may be a little small. It's going to be a little hostile when we walking down this strip. Guys have their minds kind of already set or know what to expect. So I think it helps. And it also makes the game fun. One of the beautiful things of the SWAC, having an opportunity of being in it so long, is the pageantry of the parking lot is amazing. And it carries over to the game. So it's been an honor to be in this conference, and I'm excited, especially now in this chair, to see how this season makes out.
One last question from the chats. JT again, kind of ask about said the depth was strong last year. Really excellent. What do you feel like the depth will be just as good? If you can kind of talk a little bit about that depth this off season.
We were very intentional. Again, Coach Cozy and Coach Wyndham laid out a blueprint. We lost General, and we knew it. He's a graduate, so we were strategic about what kind of guy would fit that. So everybody that went out, we had a plan to bring back something similar to bring them back in. So depth-wise, we're the same. We have the depth at the defensive line position. We have the depth at the linebackers position. We have the depth at the DB. So the challenge or the question now is how deep or how talent deep is it? All right, are the threes going to be just as potent as the twos? And if that's the case, we're going to be cooking with some hot grease there. So we definitely have the guys here, and then fall camp will let us know exactly how good our depth and our replacements have been in terms of filling this roster again.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time tonight. When we get a little closer to that October 19th date, you're gonna have to give us some spots that we need to roll to when we make that trip to Jackson. You got to give us some heads up on some spots we need to hit. Okay,
listen, I got you. I might sneak off and go grab me a Mug Shots burger or some E&L barbecue. I'm gonna sneak off. I just gotta make sure I wipe the sauce off the corner of my mouth for team meal, so they don't know.
Got you. We got you. I've heard about the mug shots, bro. I think a couple guys have told me about it, so I'm looking forward to getting to Jackson and hitting a couple of the local fine establishments there. So
absolutely, yeah. Get on out the Flowwood. I think you'll enjoy it, man.
All right, there we go. Again, Coach Milton Patterson joining us tonight. Coach, thank you again for your time. Congratulations, and
Thank you,
we
Coach.
look forward to
Appreciate
seeing
you.
what you and the Dark Cloud defense put together this season.
Absolutely. Thank you. Y'all keep being great. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. All
All
right. All right. Again, Coach Patterson, man, that's awesome, man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Can I just can't continue to, well, I can. I just want to continue to let people know, appreciate what is being built. I mean, all you got to do is look around. Look, it's funny when you guys when you hear when all of these coaches, and we were so blessed to have these coaches come in and talk with us, and you hear certain things from them that lets you know we got some good people, man. We got some good people, man. We got some good student athletes that are, and this is where the success comes from. You know, the talent. There's a lot of talent, but it's up here. It's right here. I mean, that's the stuff that that really creates champions. And so I get a kick out of having these conversations with coaches and student athletes like that.
And I'll just add one other thing, Brian. I love the fact that they embrace the culture, right?
Yeah.
FAMU has a culture.
Oh yeah,
and it's offensive or intimidating to some.
Mm-hmm.
But I love when folks say, Coach Cozy, they throw that jab and you better win. And then Coach Patterson, they have expectations, and it don't phase them because they have confidence in what they're doing and who they are, right? And they have those same expectations. And that's just so encouraging. Then when to talk about families and how that translate, being family men and how it's important to them. And that's the thing. When it's important to your leadership, it's important to your team.
Preach.
So man, it just filled my heart. We have some great coaches in every sport. We have great coaches.